On page 182 of Phantoms in the Brain, Ramachandran addresses the question of religious experiences in general and offers four possible explanations. They are as follows. A. God really is talking to people. But since we can neither prove nor disprove this based on empirical evidence, let's move on. B. These patients are experiencing massive amounts of inexplicable emotions and or sensory input and either misinterpret them as mystical or seek solace in religious explanations of their experiences. Because misinterpretation and seeking solace are largely subjective or a matter of perspective, I've chosen to focus my attention on the next two explanations. C. Connections between sensory regions and the amygdala, which is responsible for signaling significance in events, are being created and or reinforced. D. Human beings have evolved specialized networks to support the mediation of religious experience. According to an article by Joanna Mischello, The Neuroscience of Religion and Religious Experiences, the study of what happens in the brain when someone engages in an activity or has an experience that is labeled religious or spiritual. Studies on this subject matter began in the 1970s with patients with temporal lobe epilepsy providing the initial data. The majority of scientists agree that God cannot be found in one particular area of the brain. However, the temporal lobe and the limbic system have received the majority of attribution for religious experience. Another article written in 2008 by Orrin Devinsky from the Department of Neurology, New York University suggests that certain ecstatic and hallucinatory experiences associated with religiosity are associated with the neocortex and the right hemisphere of the frontal lobe as well. In the specific case of voice hearing, fMRI and PET studies consistently show activation in the left superior and middle temporal lobes. Some studies show activity in the right superior temporal lobe. And these are the same regions that are active when hearing someone who is standing right in front of you. Activations were also found in emotion processing regions like the amygdala, hippocampus, and insula, but this was quickly explained by the anxiety that accompanies the experience of hearing voices. Another study conducted by Fred H. Previck also indicated a ventral cortical axis for religious behavior, which included the ventromedial temporal and frontal regions, and points to dopaminergic activation as the primary neurochemical basis for religious experience. In alignment with this is a hypothesis proposed by Osamu Muramoto of the Department of Neurology of Kaiser, who proposed, after his study of this phenomenon, that religious experience is mediated by the medial prefrontal cortex, and that hyperreligiosity is indicative of this area working extremely well. He concludes that more research needs to be done in this area, and that discussion regarding implications toward our society should be had. As far as indications of the evolution of religion as an adaptive behavior or experience, findings are a bit speculative. However, one study conducted by Winkelman in 2015 observes chimpanzees displaying such things as bipedal charges, drumming, and communal vocalizations. This behavior points to the dynamics from which shamanism emerged, a shaman being one who enters into an ecstatic state in order to interact with the spirits on behalf of the community. Such behaviors are connected to enhanced capacities for mimesis, music, and dance. According to this article, shamanic activities engage the activation of dopamine and opioid responses that enhance social cohesion. In this process of enhanced social cohesion, accompanied with adaptive feelings of well-being, the emotional dynamics of the infant-mother attachment is extended to the entire group, and the concept of a deity supersedes that of a single alpha male in his ability to enforce group cooperation. So, in conclusion, it would seem that spirituality and religious experience is in fact biological in nature. Thank you.